Pearson, your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, look, we do not want to see our community being occupied by the military, and we don't want to see over-policing. The solution to the problems that are being articulated is not to increase the number of police, it's to increase the number of resources to actually reduce poverty, to actually educate our population, our children, for the opportunities of the future, and it's to make sure that people have a living wage so that some of the crimes that they commit literally for the need to survive do not happen. We know that gun violence is one of the most significant issues and epidemics in our country. I got expelled because of it. Right? Children under 18 are most likely to die from a bullet than cancer or car accidents. That means laws have to change at the state level. That Governor Bill Lee, Speaker Sexton, Lieutenant Governor Rand McNally need to work on to reduce the amount of access people have to firearms, and that reduces ultimately the amount of crimes that get committed. But you can't pass laws that say, hey, it's okay for you to have guns in your car, and then you complain about people breaking into cars for the firearms that they find there. We have to deal with the systemic root causes of the problems, and Black communities should not be the place and the pawns for an authoritarian, wannabe dictator, white supremacist game. And that's what we're finding right now with Donald Trump and Bill Lee. And so our resistance has to be vocal, it has to be clear, it has to be coordinated, and it has to show people that we are serious about defending our democracy.
Hey, welcome into Courageous Media. Thanks so much for joining me here. We have got a great show for you today. We got awesome news, frankly. The Trump surge in Memphis is alive and well. It has started and it is already yielding results. We have got a phenomenal speech by Stephen Miller as he was there with Hegseth and others and addressed a meeting of Memphis police officers, and it was absolutely on fire. And we've also got fantastic results out of this whole thing. As you can imagine, as you can well imagine, the Dems are in absolute meltdown mode. They are apoplectic. People like this state representative, who is a complete clown show. He's the one, if you remember, who disrupted the Tennessee legislature and actually got kicked out and censured because he's such a loser. Now, so we're going to dive into this story. But before we do so, please smash that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I did want to highlight, today is my birthday, so happy birthday to me. But this is my gift from my wife, so I'm sporting the new Turning Point t-shirt in honor of Charlie Kirk and the phenomenal work that he has done and has now finished his race, but that Turning Point continues to do. Please reach out to Turning Point, send them a donation, because that organization has done more to help deliver the presidency and MAGA to the White House than I believe any other organization, because you can also lump in with them the Persistence, which is Scott Pressler, who was part of Turning Point Action as well. And he's the one getting out there registering people to vote in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, and all sorts of other places. It's why right now, why Pennsylvania dropped for Trump big time in the last election, and why right now it is possible that we will elect a Republican governor in New Jersey. But anyway, let's get back to the story at hand, which is the Memphis surge. Check this out because this was on Fox News. They're already discussing what's going on, and it's absolutely great. Check this out.
Yes, I was indeed. And we had State Senator Brent Taylor from Memphis as one of our witnesses because the president, A.G. Bondi, Kash Patel, and 13 federal agencies, federal and state agencies, are on the ground helping Memphis to get control of their crime problem. We're really grateful for that. And Harris, here is the thing. These policies like cashless bail that Representative Stefanik and I are trying to end. Cashless bail lets these criminals go when they have had multiple convictions. And you heard this from Ms. Cook, who broke my heart as she pleaded for someone to recognize what happened to her family and what she wanted to be heard. And indeed, you wrap your arms around these people. And Harris, when you have people like the exchange that Senator Hawley had, where they cannot explain what they're trying to do because they do not have a plan, they are soft on crime, and they will make heroes out of criminals, they will make villains out of law enforcement. It has to stop. Thank goodness Donald Trump is doing something about it.
Absolutely. Now, what she said there was extremely important, and we're going to hear the same thing parroted by Stephen Miller. But this is not just This is not just Trump sending in a few National Guard troops. It is way more than that. The Trump Memphis surge is like the Trump DC surge in that it is a fully coordinated federal support operation. It is National Guard troops to augment the entire situation. But in addition to that, in supporting the actual Memphis police and the surrounding communities, they've got ATF, they've got DEA, they've got FBI, they've got Homeland Security. They've got an entire barrage of people who aren't just federal troops, who have law enforcement backgrounds, law enforcement bona fides, and law enforcement authority to make arrests. This is the federal government standing shoulder to shoulder with Memphis PD, with the Memphis local government, with the Tennessee state government to bring, to heal the criminals that have run that city for decades, for generations. This is awesome stuff. We're going to dive into this speech by Stephen Miller, which I thought was absolute fire. I think you're going to love it. It is why the Democrats are in absolute meltdown. That and the fact that Trump is already getting results. And those results are reflected in poll numbers. They're reflected everywhere. The Democrats are losing on every front they can imagine. They are getting blasted over this shutdown. And as Trump and his team execute budget cuts, and I believe they're on the cusp of firing hundreds of thousands of federal workers. Let's hope that happens. Then the only thing then there's some other things we need to talk about. But let's dive into Stephen Miller's speech, who parrots exactly what Marsha Blackburn was saying.
To the Memphis Police Department, to the officers that I see sitting in front of me, we are about to provide you with a level of support you cannot even imagine. This isn't just a task force. This is a all of government unlimited support operation. ATF, DEA, FBI, ICE, Department of War, every resource we have. And they're not going to be sitting behind a desk at a keyboard. We are sending in real cops with guns and badges to go out with you on the street every single night making arrests. These are people who have taken down drug cartels, kingpins, the worst criminal offenders in the United States, standing with you shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. All we ask from you is to show up at roll call every single night with your brothers and sisters in the federal government and to go out and get the criminals off the street. And if you do that, I pledge to you, we will liberate this city from the criminal element that has plagued it for generations. This is not just a strategy shift. This is an attitude shift. We are not going to live in an environment anywhere where there is a street that belongs to a criminal, where there is a neighborhood that belongs to a gang, where there is any physical space anywhere that belongs to anyone other than the law-abiding citizens and families of Memphis. The idea that there is a square inch of block in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis. This is the United States of America, and all bullshit is done. It's over. It's finished.
Absolutely. That is the attitude we need to have. That attitude right there. It's why Trump sent Stephen Miller. It's why Trump sent Hegseth. It's why it is an all government effort. ATF, DEI, FBI, the entire resources of the federal government to crack down on crime. And he's correct. There is not a square inch. There is not a block. There is not a city. There is not a neighborhood that law-abiding citizens should not be able to walk around safely. That is not the case in Memphis today, as we'll see from the next clip. But that attitude shift right there, that not just the, hey, we're tough on crime, but that type of speech right there, that type of attitude, that type of pro-America, pro-law abiding citizen, we will give you your country back in your local area speech is what galvanizes American citizens behind Trump, behind MAGA, behind this entire movement. And it's why the Democrats are getting crushed. They're getting crushed in every single poll imaginable. They're getting crushed by people on social media. Now, check this out, because CNN was out there trying to find people to berate the administration, and they really couldn't do it. And they found this one gentleman who, like Stephen Miller, hit the problem right on the head. And as we dive into that, before we do that, please, if you haven't already, smash that like button for me. If you hit that thumbs up, it really helps us with the YouTube algorithm, as well as subscribe. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications. For all of you who are subscribers to my channel currently, please check your notifications, because YouTube has a way of automatically turning off those notifications when you don't know it. So you don't know when we drop new content. And also, if you like what you're seeing, please share it with everybody that you know on all your socials. All right, let's dive right in to this clip from CNN.
Man that we talked to in a neighborhood that basically says he welcomes the idea of this federal action.
You can't be satisfied living in a city where you can't go to the gas station. You go to the gas station, you make it become a statistic. That's real. I tell my wife, do not go to the gas station at night. But now sometimes you can't go to it in the daytime. You know, I don't come out my front door without looking out the window first, left and right.
Think about that. He tells his wife, you cannot go to the gas station at night because you will most likely become a statistic. And he said, and now you can't even go to the gas station during the day. But the other part of that absolutely floored me when I heard him say, I don't walk out my front door without looking out the window first. They are prisoners, virtual prisoners in their own home. And I thought about that. I'm like, have I ever looked out the window before I walked out my front door? The answer is no. I've never done that. I mean, I tell my kids, you can't go out into the front yard by yourself if we're not there, because I'm not watching them. And the last thing I would want is some, crazy to drive up in a car. But I go out my front door. I don't think anything of it. When somebody knocks on the door, I open it. Why? Because I don't live in fear in my neighborhood. These people are virtual prisoners in their own home. And this is exactly what Stephen Miller was talking to. When he talks that type of rhetoric, when he talks about the fact that there is not a city street, there is not a neighborhood, there is not a square inch of Memphis that you should not be able to walk through safely as a law-abiding citizen, this is who he is talking to. He is talking specifically to Black and brown and poor neighborhoods that right now live as virtual prisoners. And he is saying, we've got your back. And the idea, the nonsense idea from the state representative, that Tennessee state representative, that somehow this is authoritarian and white supremacist, there is only one group of people that are standing up for the Black and brown communities in Memphis, in DC, in Chicago, in Portland, and other places. And that is the Trump administration and the federal government with Stephen Miller and all of their arrayed, three-letter departments that are now being deployed to local American cities to crack down on this nonsense crime that the Democrats have allowed, not just allowed, that they have enabled to fester in our cities, because they want prisoners. They want neighborhoods that they can run around every 4 years or every 2 years and say, we'll spend money, we'll spend more money, we'll spend more money. And they never get results. And they have a perpetual problem. And all they do is blame the Republicans and the racists in America. And none of it has been true for 60 years. But this is amazing. Now, the other amazing thing is Trump is actually getting results. But before we do, and we're going to tie in that, because I want to go back to the beginning of this CNN clip before the same reporter, before he interviews this person who absolutely destroys the ridiculous Democrat racist narrative. But you got to check out the photo bomb in this segment, but also what he says about the results. Check this out.
FBI, it's been an alphabet soup of law enforcement as we've seen them get ready and go out and make runs throughout the day. We know more than 50 arrests were made just last night, 20 guns taken off the street in the last 48 hours. You see people like this who behind me with this sign. He has it on both sides. If you can flip it around and show what he's saying, he's hoping that this action by Trump will help make the city safer. Take a listen to a man that we talked to in a neighborhood that basically says he welcomes the idea of this federal action.
I love it. Democrats destroyed Memphis. Thank you, President Trump. But listen to what he said. We're going to highlight that because in just the first 24 to 48 hours, they are already getting results. So check this out. You've got Trump's Memphis Safe Task Force secures 53 arrests and 20 illegal firearms in just the first 2 days. Now, think about this over the span of days and weeks turning into months, what this will mean for the city of Memphis, for the residents of Memphis, for the residents of the most depressed, crime-infested parts of Memphis. Think about him not having to look both ways out the window before he walks out his front door, maybe being able to go to the gas station during the day or even, pray tell, at night. This is what, and when that happens, and that's already happened in DC, when that happens city by city by city, as Trump rolls this out, as he rolls it out to blue cities in red states, there is going to be a massive shift. And that shift is already happening in public opinion. All right, now, so check this out, because this is once again the Democrats standing 10 toes down on an 80-20 issue, and they are on the 20. They're standing 10 toes down with 20% of the population on an 80-20 issue. How much of a problem do you think crime is in large cities? 81% say it's a major problem. And the only way you stop crime is you take the criminals off the street. Once you've got the criminals off the street, if you want to talk about social programs and things to help maintain that balance, absolutely. But the nonsense that the state rep from Tennessee was talking about, how we need social programs and we don't need police, that is exactly the last thing you need when you've got a crime problem. First, take the criminals off the street. Then we can talk about how do we maintain the new normal. But Trump is 100% right in line with the rest of the American public. He is fully in with the 80% that want crime cracked down on. He is in with the 80% that want illegal immigration and all of the illegal immigrants in America stopped, and they want them out. They want them deported. And at the same time, the economy is slowly turning around. Once we get some of these morons out of the Fed and get interest rates lowered, I think we'll see that absolutely accelerate and take off like a rocket. Let me know what you think as the Dems meltdown over Trump's Memphis success.